everyone. This is Kirk Laughlin. I'm really excited you could be with us today for our very first LinkedIn Live broadcast. If you're not familiar with Nearshore Americas, over the last 12 years, we've become the true authority in the nearshore market. It's a marketplace that is exploding right now, a whole lot of interesting things going on. So be sure to visit Nearshore Americas, get our free newsletter, follow us on social media, and we'll stay in touch. So we have a really interesting discussion lined up today. Lots of people are interested to see what's happening in the nearshore market this year in technology services. And we have a wonderful speaker with us today, our good friend Gustavo Pades. Many of you know Gustavo from over the years, but just a quick recap. He's an international tech expert and global educator. He leads NDS Cognitive Labs as founding partner and CEO, and they work on digital transformation projects, cloud computing, conversational AI, advising clients and teaching students in North and South America. One of the times I visited Gustavo in Mexico City, he was on his way to teach a class at Tec de Monterrey, a place that he's also gotten a master's degree from. So really interesting fellow. Gustavo, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Well, hi, Kirk. Thank you very much for the invitation, for having this discussion today. I'm very happy.
Excellent. Just to kind of give folks in the audience a better sense of NDS Cognitive Labs, what are you doing within that business these days, Gustavo?
Yes. Well, we started NDS Cognitive Labs about 15 years ago. We started as an international technology company about 2010. Our first international effort was to deal with a lot of global companies, especially from India, that needed technical talent capabilities in Mexico to provide nearshoring. About 2015, we opened up a new business unit dedicated on offering solutions on digital transformation and cloud solutions. One of our main focus has to do with conversational AI and chatbots. And nowadays we've evolved to a company that's an international company. We operate in US, in Mexico, in Spain. We have international and global companies from many different countries. And our main areas of expertise is providing technical talent and software projects, conversational AI solutions, and digital transformation solutions based on cloud. So I'm really happy today for having this panel with you, Kirk.
You bet, Gustavo. Thank you. I think a great place to start, because everyone is talking about this, and it's very fascinating, is the issue of talent across the board. There's all kinds of interesting things going on, trying to serve the needs of many companies globally, trying to do digital transformation, storefronts, e-commerce, mobile apps, all kinds of projects, as well as AI, RPA, and things like that. So when you look at staffing for the nearshore in general, what are some of the things you're seeing, and specifically in Mexico, in terms of availability, scalability of tech talent?
Well, we've seen a really interesting shift in the last 10 years. For example, if we go back 10 years, the main focus was on getting volume, and cost was a big problem. You needed to be very cost competitive, and you'd be able to scale in hundreds or thousands of positions. That was a really big interest in 10 years ago. Because of the new technologies, the new project management methodologies, cloud solution, and the power of some new disruptive technologies, we've seen a big focus or a big change towards having very specialized talent in specific cloud solutions or in specific technologies. It's really important as well to have a really deep understanding of an industry and or some processes. So because for maintenance and a lot of existing ongoing projects, companies had already somehow figured it out. But for this really huge need of digital transformation that came over the last 2 years because of COVID and all these new disruptive technologies, there is a big interest in companies to get specialized talent. And that's where I see a huge opportunity for Mexico and Latin America to take advantage of some strategic things like being close to the US, having all these commercial treaties, being able to catch a flight and be in a couple of hours in the US, because you can provide expertise in industries, technology certified people, and be able to help your clients in the US to scale and grow this. And if we compare another important thing, 10 years ago, most of the companies that wanted to open up a shop in Mexico for delivery capabilities came from India or from Europe. Nowadays, we see that US companies are paying a lot of attention for uh, finding talent, specialized talent in Mexico for these digital transformation needs.
So what I find also really interesting is, and definitely related to COVID, you see a whole process of validation. In other words, there's all kinds of US companies who are looking at Nearshore for the very first time as if they've just discovered it. Meanwhile, this industry's been around a good 15, 20 years plus. But nonetheless, it seems like Nearshore has really reached a different level, and everyone we speak to seems to be very, very happy with the fundamental aspects of the Nearshore being similar time zone, the cultural advantages, the things we've talked about forever, proximity. But in your view, are you getting the sense that there's just a lot of new people showing up, Silicon Valley firms, startups, global outsourcers, and what's your view there?
Well, we've identified a lot of new players interested in the nearshore talent in Mexico, for example. 10 years ago, there were only global IT outsourcing companies, that wanted to scale and add the headcount for the delivery centers. In the last 2 years, we've seen a lot of tech companies from California, Texas, New York, Denver area, Seattle area, that need to grow their development team, and that they need to be agile enough, or they don't want to have their technical talent in the other side of the world and have all this 12-hour difference. So all these new tech companies and fintech companies are reaching out to Mexico and some other countries in Latin America for this specialized talent. That is why it's really important for these companies that the talent comes with at least three things: industry or process knowledge, that what I mentioned before. Obviously, the technical talent, you need to have certified or highly skilled engineers or developers in the cloud components, in database, in microservices, and all these important things. And the last part that is also really important has to do with being able to work and focus as a product or as a solution, because they need to, for example, all these new startups, they have a deadline for having their new MVPs ready. They have a deadline. So the focus on the product of an ended product is also really important. So it's not only the technical side, it's the technical side with all these components that is really important. And that is why I think the relationship of trade, commercial, tourism, industry, everything, the relationship that Mexico has with US becomes very useful, because Mexico being one or two trading partners the last couple of years give us a lot of depth in all these industries that can be translated into providing specialized services.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because Mexico's positioning is very interesting compared to some of these other markets. We're hearing a lot about Colombia. Medellin's a really impressive sort of, I look at it almost like where I got to be careful here. It's Guadalajara is a remarkable destination and has been that way for a very long time. I think Medellin has that potential. But overall, when you look at whether it's Peru or Argentina, which is obviously loaded with great entrepreneurs and talent, And Costa Rica, very impressive. There, Uruguay, Chile. There's lots of opportunities out there. But having said all that, where does Mexico sit these days? What are you seeing, especially related to the points you're making about specialization?
Well, I think that I see Latin America as a hub, as a tech hub, where Mexico, because of the size and many things, plays a really important role. But also Costa Rica and Colombia and Argentina, and Brazil in its own way play a really important role in this technology hub. And what is really important is that we also see Latin America as a hub to be able to compete with India and some other huge players in Asia Pacific. So, well, I think each country will have a really good positioning in specific processes, specific industries, specific technologies. I think Mexico will continue to play a very significant role because of the size of the economy, the internal market, the relationship with the US, their exporting capability, uh, the size of the talent pool we have. We graduate, I don't know, like 70,000 or 100,000 engineers every year, and that is unique. And it is really hard to replicate for smaller countries in Latin America. But what I see is that Colombia will play a really important role in changing Colombia and South America as well, as Chile and all these countries are going to play a specific role. But what I think, and I would love to see, is that they play a specialized industries, technology hubs to be able, to be more competitive as a region.
Very, very interesting. Thank you for that. And just real quick, sort of a follow up for those individuals out there, or entrepreneurs, or people thinking about maybe doing some outsourcing. What would you say to them if they have concerns about, well, I don't know how to do business in Mexico, or where do I go to get support to do business in Mexico? What would be your response?
Well, it's very easy to do either for technical talent, software projects, or cloud solution. It's very easy because most of the established players like us, we have legal entities as well in the US. So you can sign master service agreements in the US and then get part of the delivery from Mexico and some other locations. And I mean, it's a standard contract, a standard prices for industry, and we follow all international methodologies, and we assess our technical talent based on global standards or US standards. So I would say it's pretty easy, it's pretty straightforward. It's important to leverage more than I don't remember 1995, all these 15, 20 years of the NAFTA, that
Mhm.
paved the way for doing all kind of commerce between Mexico and US, and software, becomes the low-hanging fruits that we can all discover, and Mexico is an important player in this story.
Okay,
So
great.
I would look for established player. If you go for a very huge player, probably they won't be interested in medium-sized projects. That is why it's also important to consider. And if you go for a very, very small, they won't be able to scale up. That is why it's also important to find the right size. I guess medium-sized players like us are interesting because you have flexibility, you have all international compliance, but at the same time, you have a speed to execute that many times has been the most important thing the last couple of years, to be able to execute at, um, very efficiently.
So that so what we're also seeing, and just to kind of move more of a in the technology a silo, is lots and lots of AI projects, some of which are becoming more complex. What's your view on the nearshore partner community? How well prepared do you get the sense the community is? What sort of AI projects do you think are going to be more in demand?
Well, I think AI is a game changer for Latin America in a good sense, because of cloud and some disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence and blockchain and some other. The capability of companies to create new solutions and do the rollout to the market is going to be faster, and it was going to change the economy, education, government, everything. So we've seen I mean, I'm really proud of what's happening right now in Mexico and Latin America. All these new unicorns that are living proof that there is the technical talent, the size of the industry, the willingness to invest in Latin American economies, and to create platforms to solve Latin American problems or Mexico problems. Um, I think that the unicorns is a really good indicator that Mexico and Latin America is moving in the right direction, and that we're leveraging AI, cloud computing, IoT, and all these new disruptive technologies to take advantage, to improve how we do business, how we live, how we learn in Latin America. And that is amazing. That's amazing, and we see it in all sides, in many countries, in many cities. I mean, Guadalajara is an amazing hub for AI. Querétaro, Monterrey has some focus more on industry, but this is an amazing hub for that. So we're seeing a lot of these examples that I'm very personally proud about that, and it reminds of that we were the low hanging fruit, and we need to take advantage in Latin America about this opportunity.
It comes to mind, Gustavo, too. I think we would be remiss by not talking about Tec de Monterrey, because for those not familiar with Mexico, it's such a crucial part of supporting the entire spectrum of technology, opportunities, solutions, exports, software. I know you know Tec de Monterrey really well. Can you give us just an understanding of the scale of that organization and really how it's performing?
Well, yes, Tech of Monterrey is a system of universities focused on what was started in Monterrey to make sure that the most of the investment in Monterrey had all the qualified people in order to do at that time beer, cement, and some of the main industries in Monterrey. And then it grew to most of Mexico. It has around 100,000 students, and it prepares very qualified engineers and business people and accountants. It has a lot of undergrad majors, and it's one of I've been a professor there for many years, and I still participate creating special projects with the Tech of Monterrey, and many of our students, well, many of those students become uh, employees of ours because they have the right mindset between being analytic and to be able to execute and great English skills, and that's why we partner up with Tech of Monterrey, and we're really happy about that.
So, by the way, our friends out there in the virtual land, thank you very much for showing up to this first LinkedIn Live program for Nearshore Americas. We're talking with Gustavo Paez from NDS Cognitive Labs. If anyone has a comment or question, please go ahead and send that over to me or chat me, and I'll pick it up. Hi to Kay and Carlos. Thanks for checking in with me. Another area I think we really need to talk about, Gustavo, is chatbots. I think 4 or 5 years ago, you and I had been talking about chatbots, and you had very early on picked up some pretty big customers in Mexico, supporting them with chatbot solutions. What's the state of things now with chatbots? Where is it going? Machine learning, what are you seeing there?
Well, it's been an amazing journey. I remember, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago when we started our chatbot practice. Um, there was no documentation, no books. The cloud vendors didn't even have very clear. They changed names and they changed a bunch of things. Like, for example, IBM Cloud used to be Bluemix and SoftLayer, and then it changed and changed. And the same happened with some other cloud vendors. But what was great to start early a couple of years ago is that we were able to build a practice from scratch. And when we started our practice 4 years ago, very few companies had a focus on creating solutions based on cloud and AI or NLP, natural language processing. We decided that chatbot was a great opportunity because customer satisfaction is a critical business process that most companies can improve. So we rolled out our first important project was a global bank. and they were really happy 4 or 5 years ago. We were still their chatbot provider. Now, about 10% of the banks in Mexico are our clients for our chatbot solutions or projects. Uh, the largest pension funds in Mexico, very important fintechs, our client. So what we had to do to create a product was to create a practice, and invest a lot of time and money to create a solution that would solve what Mexican customers needed. They needed to be clarified, frequent asked questions in a couple of minutes instead of waiting on the phone 15, 20 minutes. They needed their answer in less than a minute. If they needed to communicate through web or through WhatsApp or through some other platform like voice, that our chatbot solution would be able to provide this kind of service. So what I'm trying to say is we've been very successful. We've invested a lot of time, a lot of money in creating these solutions for Mexico. We started with Mexico. Now we have customers in all Americas. Our chatbots can speak different languages, and they can do transactions and they can do a lot of things. But it started small, and after 4 or 5 years, we have a great expertise. So for those who are interested in creating specialized practices in AI, there is plenty of talent. The only thing you need to do is to have the focus, the time, and the resources to invest to create these kind of solutions.
So another area we want to talk about, Gustavo, is just projects, managing projects, making sure partners in the nearshore are optimizing how they deliver service and doing what they need to do. What's your view there? Where do partners, nearshore partners, need to improve?
Well, I think that the most challenging thing is a very human basic that has to do with communication. So we've seen that with a big training and assessing in soft skills, like listening, like asking questions. It's been a great thing to tackle some problems. And then we need to work with project management methodologies, with professionalized methodologies to do software testing. We need to do our projects based on a business case. But I mean, it starts with really good communication, and then having all these processes and methodologies on top to make sure we're getting to the right place at the right time and aligned. So that, I mean, it's pretty basic answer, but I mean it's key for improving a lot of the delivery for many projects.
So when you're out even hiring people for your own team and you're looking for some of those soft skills, what do you see? How do you test for that? Do you think that will continue to be a crucial part of the characteristics or features that employers are going to be looking for, especially in the near future?
Well, I would, yes. For example, when we this is such an important process to our team and for our clients that we built our own job board called Fuga de Cerebros. Fuga de Cerebros is our own community where we have more than 21,000 specialized engineers, analysts, and tech profiles, where we provide them with training. We invite them to all the events we do with Google, Microsoft, IBM. We have this community of more than 20,000 people that we engage with them. We have them. We provide training for free. We invite them to relevant events in the industry, and then whenever we have job positions, we invite them to participate. The screening process is some basic stuff like assessing English. It's really important to assess their English skills. We apply technical tests based on global standards. Like, for example, if you say you know Java, we'll give you an automated Java test to make sure you really know Java, and it has a bunch of controls to see if you're not cheating or copying or whatever. So it's the English test, the technical test. Then we will do a couple of interviews to make sure how you express yourself, how good understanding you have of problem solving, how good you are in communication, and then after all these processes, obviously they'll have a training path, to be able to start small things and then lead global projects. But we always follow this technical English soft skills to be able because we're competing when we're working with these US based projects or global projects, we're competing with the best of the best. And we just need to make sure we fit the right talent in the right maturity moment for the position that is being demanded. So sorry, because that's another important thing. The talent is there. You just need to make sure you're fitting the talent with the correct job description.
And that's a perfect kind of a connection point to my next question, which is if I'm one of those project leaders in the United States and I need to staff up, maybe I need to hire 20 software engineers for a project. Do I want to hire them? Do I want to use a staffing agency? Do I want to ask somebody help recruit them? Do I want to go for a staff aug solution? There's lots of different pathways to go. Frankly, a lot of US clients underestimate. A lot of them think, we can do it ourselves. Unfortunately, it's just not that simple. We've seen time and time again that be the case. But what are some high-level points or recommendations you would give in that situation, Gustavo?
Yes. For example, if it's a global corporation and it's 500 people, at some point they will want to do everything by themselves because that's how they operate. But for smaller projects, I would strongly recommend to partner with a specialized company like us because it will make your life easier, to get the candidates, to ensure the quality of the deliverables, so because the main focus of many of our clients has to do with execute properly in time and within cost. So if you need to have all this other complexity of opening up a new legal entity and figure out a HR manager and then a recruiting manager. And another important thing to keep in mind is that probably your company is well known in US or Europe or whatever, but in Mexico, it might not be well known and nobody will apply for job positions in this company. So it's important to have an important positioning to be able to get the best talent. That is why we have all these projects like Fuga de Cerebros and the things we do with Tech of Monterrey and everything, because you need to get access to the talent firsthand in order to be able to engage and then invite these for interesting projects. And for if a company is looking for, 20 positions, 50 positions, I think it's always better to start with a partner and then and take it from there.
Okay, and thanks, Gina, for a great question. She'd like to know more, Gustavo, about the Fuga de Cerebros group or the job board. How do people find that?
Okay, it's I don't know if I can write in the chat here, but the website is fugadecerebros.mx. Or they can go to our website at ndscognitivlabs.com, and then there is a link to Fuga de Cerebros there.
Great. So we just got a couple of minutes left, Gustavo. What looking forward to this year? All of us are really excited to feel like we can start living lives that are a bit more normal, whatever that might be. But what are you looking forward to this year? What are you seeing? Obviously, I was just telling you about our Nexus conference is coming back full strength. We can't wait to tell people about that, June in New York City. Do you see what's your outlook for this year?
Well, I think that the opportunity is huge, and we want to take advantage of that opportunity. And I hope we can at least double our size. We want to reach new geographies. Like, for example, we have an interesting operation in California, Texas. We want to reach out more states in the US. But because there is for example, in Fuga de Cerebros, we have identified more than a couple of hundred Google Cloud professionals. And there's a lot of need for this kind of profiles for projects everywhere. So we want to leverage that we build all this relationship with this community of highly skilled individuals, and we want to make them available to the need for projects in the US and worldwide. And we're also another important thing is multilingual chatbots. We want customers from airlines, from retailers, from banks to avoid suffering all what we've been suffering through COVID and before COVID because of terrible customer service. We want customers to be able to call or WhatsApp or through an app or through a website and get their answers right away in less than a minute. And I think it's a very important thing, an opportunity that we want to leverage to being experts in what we do in conversational AI, because the need is there. We just need to go to the market, and that's our expectations. We're really happy about the opportunity. We're really open to listen and partner up, with all the amazing community you have with Nearshore Americas. And I really appreciate the time and the opportunity for sharing some thoughts and ideas with you and all your audience, Kirk.
It's been a pleasure, Gustavo. Always really enjoy talking to you, my friend. And I want to tell people again, if you're tuning in, be sure to connect with Gustavo. Certainly, you could ask him any question you want. If you're not connected to me, I'd love to engage with you. We're going to do a lot more of these LinkedIn Live events. Let us know what you thought. And I think I'm going to sign off. Gustavo, wonderful to see you today, and we'll be seeing you soon in Mexico City.
Thank you very much, Kirk. Have a really nice day. Thank you, all of you.